Here we go, Joe. Your 30 pack of predictions. You've been doing this since what,
God,
2011,
something like
12?
that. Something like 2011. It's been a solid 15 years somehow now.
I'm telling you, I've been in high school reading this. I remember vividly, just checking this out on my phone at lunch or something. So here we go. The first one involves Geno Smith. You believe Geno will start 15 games this year, and he starts week 1 of 27 as the Jets starter before giving way to a newly drafted first-round QB by week 5 or week 6.
I stay with it. I think Geno, I don't think you're going to get full Seattle Geno where he threw for 4,000 yards and led the team to the playoffs. I certainly don't think you're going to get the Raiders Geno when Chip Kelly was mailing it in and he had no offensive line. So I think statistically, this is going to look really good for Jet fans. Now, if some of these stats kind of padding in games where you're losing, maybe, but Geno will push the ball down the field. I think he's proven to be durable. I think he'll start the overwhelming majority of the games. Those other two, maybe one's due to an injury and one's late in the year when they're out of it, where they try to get a longer look at Klubnik. But I think Geno's the kind of guy at this stage of his career that he'll be good enough where they're still going to draft a quarterback early next year. You're not going to feel like you have to start him week 1, and maybe it's a Jackson Dart type thing where he's starting by week 5 or week 6, and Geno helps you get out of the gates, and they get one more year from him next year.
Joe, if he puts up these numbers, this is no joke, one of the best seasons in Jet history, as sad as that might be.
Yes, I don't think he's going to quite get to beating Fitzpatrick's records, which are annoying, but this would be a very solid, normal NFL quarterback season where he's throwing for like 200 plus yards most weeks, and he's throwing a touchdown most weeks, and he's still going to have his turnovers because he's Geno, but it's not an insane amount. And this is just like normal, functional 23rd best quarterback in the league type offense, which we're all kind of just dying to see week to week.
Prediction 2, Breece Hall plays in 16 of 17 games, finishes with 1,125 rushing yards, 402 receiving yards, and 9 total touchdowns. This is a Pro Bowl level season for Breece if he could put this together.
Look, I think the Jets paid Breece Hall a lot of money. I think this regime likes him. I think he is clearly the lead back on this team. We haven't seen enough from Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis. I think that's going to change. And I think outside of Garrett, he's going to be really the focal point of the offense. And if he's going to play this many games, which he's, again, proven to be durable the last year or two, I think he'll be able to compile and get up over this and have another solid year. And he wasn't too far below this last year with effectively no quarterback, and now we'll have a decent quarterback.
Prediction 3, the Jets go 2-4 in the AFC East, steal one from New England, blow a game to Miami, and swept by Buffalo again. I could definitely see this.
This has to happen this way. I think they'll get one very fun win for us, but to think they're just going to cleanly sweep a tanking Dolphins team just doesn't feel right. Unfortunately, I hope they do. They should, but there's always a game or two like that every season.
I mean, can they just win in Miami if they're only going to split with Miami? Like, I'm tired of hearing about the fact that they haven't won, ironically, since Geno had the perfect passer rating game. Maybe that's what it will take to win in Miami for once. Here we go. Prediction 4, Garrett Wilson stays healthy, easily leads the Jets in targets, finishes with 1,195 yards and 8 touchdowns, and posts 4 100-yard games.
I think this would be a nice bounce back season for Garrett. And by bounce back, I mean he's just healthy and has a competent quarterback. And look, do I think he's going to be like an all-pro type player? Statistically, no. I don't think he's going to get there in this offense. I need to see him do that once before I put him at that level. But this still makes him, a top 10-ish receiver in the league, top 8. And I think he'll get in the end zone more than we're accustomed to seeing because he's going to play, again, the overwhelming majority of the season.
I think Jet fans would sign for this. I think this is a good year from Garrett, given the circumstances. Prediction 5 from Joe Caporoso here. The Jets win a revenge game in week 1. I like the sound of that.
We're overdue for it. We're overdue for it.
I don't like the second part, but I definitely could see this. Then they lose their home opener by double digits in front of a crowd that's half Packers fans. What would concern me about this is if they win week 1, are they treating it like it's their Super Bowl and they're not ready to go in their home opener? Like what happened last year, only they actually lost week 1 to Pittsburgh and then they no-showed against the Bills at home?
I could unfortunately see the younger parts of this team maybe getting a little too excited. And the Packers are still good. And I think it's going to be annoying that there's going to be a lot of Packers fans there. And I could just see the Jets making us very proud week 1 with a nice win on the road. And then having that, I'm not saying they're going to get like ran out of the building, but I could see like a solid like 30-17 type loss.
Prediction 6. D'Angelo Pons plays over 65% of the defensive snaps, is involved in 4 turnovers, what a concept, and ends the season as the Jets' best corner.
Feel good about this one. I think from a pure talent perspective, he is the best all-around corner on the roster, and I don't think it's going to take long for him to get up to speed, and we'll go into next year, unquestionably saying he's the best corner on the team.
Here we go as we continue with Joe's 30-pack. Number 7, Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon Sadiq finishes his rookie season with 42 catches, 470 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. Any concern with the injury that Sadiq suffered? I know he's expected to be back for training camp, but this article that you posted with the 30-pack, it came out before any news of his injury. So give you a chance here to adjust the prediction accordingly if you feel like you have to.
No, I think it's all right. I don't think this is anything too crazy. It's a little over 2 catches a game. I think he'll be fine for training camp. That's what's most important. As if he's missing time in camp, that's a different conversation. But I think these are measured expectations for a rookie tight end who's going to be playing all over the formation.
Prediction 8, Omar Cooper posts 46 receptions, 430 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns in his rookie season.
Comparable stats to Sadiq. I feel like him, AD Mitchell, and Sadiq are all going to kind of be hovering around each other once we get past Garrett and Brees.
Doesn't it feel really hard to prognosticate the stats
Yes.
for Sadiq and Cooper just because of the unknown with what this offense is, and even like to a lesser extent, like what AD Mitchell's role in it is?
Yeah, it's tough because we haven't seen these guys. Also, the Jets don't usually have this many pass catchers to pick from, so it's a bit of an adventure and a good problem to have finally.
Yeah, for once. Number 9, Braylon Allen. He holds down RB2 role all season, finishes with 385 total offensive yards and 2 touchdowns.
I think it's fine. I think there's always a lot of summer hype around Braylon Allen, and it will probably overestimate what his offensive output ends up actually being.
Here we go. Number 10, David Bailey plays 52% of the Jets' defensive snaps and finishes his rookie season with 7.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. I'm fine with the sack number. I would love to see him in the 65% of defensive snaps. Your thoughts on this, Joe?
I'd like to see the number higher too. I'm trying to temper my expectations and know that I'm not going to get everything I want, but I'd like to see him hit that 60% threshold.
Number 11, the Jets will go 2-2 against the NFC North. Who are the 2 wins against?
I will say the Vikings late in the season, as they're going to be somewhat disappointing. And I will say that they steal one from the Bears, who totally sleepwalk into that game.
If they could do that, and let's say they beat Tennessee, if you could be 2-2 through 4, you're having a season at least that's not over after the first month of the season like last year.
Baby steps.
Here we go. Number 12. Inez Cooper will start at least 2 games at guard before the season ends.
Yeah, the Jets are due to have some backup offensive linemen play some games. I don't necessarily think he's going to be the long-term starter, but I think we'll see him at some point this season.
I noticed the AI used a picture of Mimbu here for Inez Cooper, so shout out to ChatGPT. Here we go. Cade Klubnik, prediction number 13. He'll be the primary backup quarterback this season and in 2027.
Yes, he at least over the next few years will be our QB2, our go-to QB2, whether it's with Geno or a newly drafted guy next year.
So you had Geno playing 15 games in your prediction. Does that mean Klubnik is the one who starts the other 2?
Yes.
Makes sense. Here we go. Number 14, Will McDonald. He will finish with 9.5 sacks this season.
I think good, not incredible, but if you're getting 9.5 sacks from Will McDonald, I think everyone should generally be happy. And I think working off of David Bailey will make his life a lot easier than it was last year. And these 9.5 sacks will be a little more evenly distributed between all the games. It won't just be like 5 in one game, and then he'll have 0 for the next 5 games.
I think that's the key with McDonald, right? Because the production, it's not just the number, it's like how you accumulate the sack number. And I just hope, look, you're playing him opposite David Bailey now. That means there's just way more advantageous scenarios for him to rush the QB. Number 15, the bye week. Here we go. The Jets lose the bye week. No, I'm just kidding. Jets will be 5-7 at the bye week with somewhat of a pulse. So they have the latest bye in the history of their franchise, according to Rich Cimini, who looked into it. Your thoughts, 1, on how late the bye week is. I believe it's week 13. And 2, the 5-7 record prediction here.
It's very annoying how late it is. I don't love late bye weeks, but I think they barely hit that threshold of being relevant going into the bye week, where there's still a mathematical path to competing for that 7 seed if you're 5-7 through 12 games.
Here we go. Prediction 16. We mentioned AD earlier. Here's Joe's prediction for AD Mitchell. AD Mitchell will have 55 receptions, 675 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He will be back in 2027. What level of receiver is he if he puts up these numbers? Is wide receiver 2 numbers, wide receiver 3? Your thoughts here?
I think he's like their wide receiver 2 for the overwhelming majority of the season. I don't think it's fully running away from Omar Cooper, but I think he shows enough as an X receiver and has a pretty unique skill set where the Jets are going to want to keep him around, and they'll get more and more comfortable in 11 personnel where they'll be enough for AD and Cooper over time.
Prediction 17. Arian Smith and Tyler Barron won't be on the roster by the time the Jets season's over.
Had to do it. I think Tim Patrick, probably the final nail in the coffin for Arian Smith. I guess he could be the 6th receiver and a special teamer, but he's not even a returner. And they have other gunners and Stiggers and probably VJ Payne, and Brownlee will probably be a gunner. So yeah. And Barron, they basically added 100 edge rushers this year. So I don't see how he sticks.
So I agree with you on Barron. Smith, the only saving grace for him might have been, well, they got rid of Herb Charles. So I thought that was a positive sign for Arian Smith's special teams role as a gunner.
We'll see. He'll have that if he's going to make it, it's because of that, right? Yep. I don't think there's going to be a lot of options for him on offense.
Prediction 18, Aaron Glenn. Jets finished 7-10, and he's back for 2027.
That he just gets over the threshold where they decide to keep him. I'm not saying that that's going to be the right decision. It's just a decision I think is going to play out. And I think if he gets to 7, that will be enough for Woody to keep him.
Well, 5-7 at the bye means they've had a season. Like they just weren't colossally awful. Like forget last year, but even like use the Adam Gase 2019 year, for example, 1-7 start, 6-2 second half. Oh, you finished 7-9, but it's a Fugazi 7-9. I really think it's not even just about the wins for Glenn. It's the context of when they happen, who they're against, division opponents, solo week 1. I think all that matters when you're evaluating them.
Yes, 100%.
Here we go. Prediction 19 of the 30-pack. Minkah Fitzpatrick will lead the Jets in INTs with 5. The Jets will end their interception drought in week 1. My goodness, the reaction from the crowd of all the Jet fans in Nashville, if the Jets get a pick and it's Minkah, would be epic.
One more vintage Minkah season before the bottom falls out next year. I think we'll get one more really good one from him.
5 would be, wow, unbelievable. Number 20, Nashawn Wright. Feels like a forgotten man in the secondary. Nashawn Wright will play more than Azareye'h Thomas at corner.
Yeah, I think he's a guy who has the ability to get his hands on the football. He's a little more experienced. I need to see it more from Azareye'h, who missed a lot of time last year, is coming back from an injury. I'd like to see Azareye'h grab this role, but until I see it, I think Wright will play more.
21, Joe Tippmann will get a contract extension before week 1.
Take care of the young offensive lineman. No reason not to pay him. They have tons of money. Just get it done proactively.
I agree. And look, to Muji's credit, they've been proactive with these extensions. They got Brees done, I think, way earlier than any of us thought would be possible. So I'm with you, Joe. I think they do get this done.
Yes.
Number 22, Jawan Briggs will get a large extension after the 2026 season from the Jets.
I think we'll get another good year from him. I think, again, they have plenty of money. There's no reason not to take care of your talented young players. I don't think Briggs is going to be a Quinnen level type player. Can he be 80% of them? And is that enough to give him a contract extension? I think so.
Hit the like button if you're watching live right now. Joe Caporoso is my guest from Badlands. We're going through his 30-pack of predictions. Today's giveaway is a Jets jersey, player of your choosing. So enter the raffle by gifting a membership or sending in a super chat that qualifies. You pick between these Jet veteran players, including Garrett, Brees, Gino, and DeMario, plus David Bailey, Omar Cooper Jr., and Kenyon Sadiq. All options for you to choose from. More predictions now from Joe's 30-pack. Number 23, Josh Myers will not be the Jets starting center in 2027.
Yeah, I think one of their earlier picks next year that doesn't go to a quarterback goes to a new center, even if that's the second round pick. But I think they will upgrade that position for the long term with their new quarterback.
It feels like if the board played out a certain way this past draft, Joe, that was certainly a possibility.
Yes, I think it's time. We'll get one more year from him that will be average at best, and then they'll upgrade.
Prediction 24. The Jets will prove to get the better of the Tavondre Sweat for Jermaine Johnson trade.
I think the ceiling talent-wise is there with Sweat compared to Johnson at this point. I think they'll get a very good year from him, and Johnson will be okay for the Titans, but nothing where Jet fans are going to be upset about it.
25. Here we go. This one is about Dane Belton. Remember him, Jet fans? Dane Belton will play the second most snaps at safety.
A mild bummer because I'd like to see Malachi Moore take this spot, but I think the Jets are just going to like Belton's ability to tackle. Like he just doesn't miss tackles, and I think that's going to keep him out there a lot.
27. Jamie Sherwood will not be on the Jets in 2027.
I don't think we're getting the bounce back year that we're hoping for, and I think they'll get out of the contract after this season.
What type of year do you think we get from Sherwood?
Better than last year, but nowhere near as good as 2 years ago. And he's still like a slightly below average starter, so they move on.
Here we go. Number 27. Armand Membu will be a second team All-Pro.
Our guy, the best player on the roster at the end of this season, at least from an All-Pro recognition perspective. I think he will make that kind of leap, and the Jets being competent-ish will allow him to break through as a second-team All-Pro player.
Couple predictions left. Mason Taylor will have 38 receptions for 350 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And a good blocker, but yeah, I think there's only so many targets after you get through AD, Cooper, Sadiq, Garrett, Brees. I think he's like 6th in that pecking order.
What are the chances that Taylor actually is more productive than Sadiq, at least in Sadiq's first year?
I just think the Jets are going to manufacture a lot of touches for Sadiq in the screen game, so that's going to bump him up over Taylor in terms of targets and receptions.
I think you're right. The only thing I'd say is the head coach came out and was asked, like, who's a guy who could take the biggest leap, and he referenced Taylor, so maybe they like him internally more than we realize. But I guess it also could depend on, look, they say Sadiq will be ready for training camp, but what if there's a setback and he's missing a couple weeks and he starts slow? Then maybe Taylor could emerge.
Yes. All right.
Here we go. Number 29, Joe. Isaiah Davis will have 225 total yards of offense and 1 touchdown.
RB3, still sticking around. Good special teamer. Perfect third running back. And yes, even Isaiah Davis gets a prediction in the 30-pack.
I love it. Here we go. The last one. Jeremy Ruckert, the pride of Lindenhurst, Long Island. Ruckert will have 150 yards receiving and 1 touchdown.
And solid blocking. And basically can knock Andrew Beck off the roster with his ability to play fullback.
A 30-pack of predictions from Joe Caporoso. All right, Asmaniacs, listen up for a second. No matter what you're watching, whether it's New York sports or any game you didn't plan on caring about, there's no better way to stay locked in than with PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy made simple. You're just picking more or less on player projections. That's it. No complicated lineups, no nonsense. Just you versus the numbers. And here's why I love it. Even if it's a game you normally wouldn't care about, once you got a lineup going, you're locked in. Every play matters, every drive matters, every at-bat matters. I've been mixing sports too. Maybe a little football, throwing some baseball, maybe some basketball, and now you've got action across the board all night, and PrizePicks makes it even better with features like early cash outs if your picks are hitting, the ability to mix multiple sports in one lineup, and you can even see what other people are playing and tail their picks. So if you haven't tried it yet, what are you doing? Download the PrizePicks app right now. Use code HMA. That's HMA, and you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, it's HMA on PrizePicks. PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. A few super chats here for you. This one's from Ricky NY, who says, Joe, answering your question on X, if AD Mitchell cements himself as wide receiver 2, yes, he'll have 62 receptions, 843 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
I'd be thrilled with that season. That means the Jets have a long-term running mate for Garrett Wilson, and you'll find a way to use him and Cooper eventually because most teams are playing 3 receiver sets all the time anyway.
Obviously, it will depend on what ends up happening with Sadiq, who was part of the Sauce trade, and what they do with the extra pick they got. But if you tell me AD Mitchell emerges as that level of player, on top of what they got with the first-round capital, that's one of the better trades you'll see in the NFL over the last 30 years, and that's what the Sauce trade ends up amounting to.
Yeah, you'd be thrilled with that production from AD, who has the talent to do it. He's just got to show the consistency.
Cashmere Black says, if the Jets had a top 5 quarterback with this roster, could they be a playoff team? ? Jets do have a talented roster and shouldn't be one of the worst teams.
Yes. If you have a top 5 quarterback, you should be right in the mix for the playoffs every year for the NFL. And there's enough talent here where if they had that level of play, I think they're a 10-ish win team.
I think I know the answer to this, Joe, because you said you have Glenn coming back. Does that mean Frank Reich is back for another year?
Probably. If they're ultimately going to bring Glenn back and they're going to have a young quarterback, he would probably feel comfortable with Reich being the guy who's there coaching him. So I think in that scenario, yes, he's keeping his coordinators.
Now, it was tough to find any prediction question to ask you that you didn't cover, but I did notice, probably because we have no idea who this player is going to be yet, you didn't have anything about the Jets kicker. So your thoughts on who the Jets kicker actually is by the time we get to week 1?
Someone not in the team right now. I think they'll sign someone in late July. Maybe that's Carlson. Maybe that's McManus, but I don't think it's going to be York or Koo.
You're not buying the Younghoe Koo resurgence under Chris Banjo?
I'm not. I trust Chris Banjo, but I think they will go get a different guy.
All right, let's get you out of here with this. You're a big Knicks fan like I am. Can the Knicks inspire the Jets? What can the Jets learn from how the Knicks have been able to go from doormat, franchise, national running joke, owner that needs to sell, to here they are starting tomorrow night, 4 wins from their first championship in 53 years?
Get the owner out of the way, get the right personnel guy, let him do his thing, and find your version of Jalen Brunson, which is likely a quarterback next year, right? You get that one pick right, that one player right, everything kind of waterfalls down from that. And I think our Knicks got a decent shot. I think they're plus 170 the last I saw, and I think they could win in 7. I don't think it's an insane thing to think.
Are you more of a believer in Muji separately from Glenn, or the two of them together? How do you view that?
I think to date, Muji's shown more than Glenn, I think by a decent amount. That being said, I think the only reason Muji's here is because of Glenn. I think they would have had a different GM if it wasn't for Glenn. So I'm willing to give it another 12 months, but if I had to bet on one of the two being here long-term, I would still narrowly take Muji over Glenn.
If it's not Glenn as the head coach, early prediction for who it would be in 2027.
Davis Webb is what I will go with.
The offensive guy.
No, that's not a shocking pick, but I think I'll go with Davis Webb.
I think it could happen because of the Muji connection. I'd love someone with previous head coaching experience, ideally like Kevin O'Connell or someone of that ilk is available. But what would be your thoughts on a Tomlin or McDermott, even though they're defensive guys, quote unquote?
I don't see it happening. I don't think Tomlin's coming out of TV to coach the Jets. McDermott, maybe, but I think if it goes really bad with Glenn this year, there'll be so much pressure to get an offensive guy, they wouldn't get McDermott.
Early prediction, who the rookie quarterback is that the Jets actually take in the first round.
CJ Carr, Notre Dame.
I like it. I've heard you say this on your podcast. You just can't picture Arch Manning in a Jet uniform.
I can't. And I don't think I think he'd come here if they took him. I don't think there'd be some big like standoffish thing where I don't want to come here. I can't picture Peyton Manning standing in Woody's owner box cheering for his family. I can't. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he's awesome, and he's the Jets franchise quarterback, but I'm going with CJ Carr as of now.
All right, final question. Your co-host, Connor Rogers, is about to have his first kid. You're a dad of 3. What's the biggest piece of advice you're going to give to Connor Rogers?
Say yes to everything your wife's asked for at least the next 6 months, and always and generally, but especially the next few months.
Love it. Joe, you're the man. Continued success with Badlands. You guys selling the dad hat. So everyone who wants a Badlands dad hat, check it out in the Badlands merch store. Anything else you want to share with the audience?
That's it. We'll be busy at patreon.com/BadlandsTOJ. We'll have new episodes every day going forward. No quiet months with our Jets.
And we know you know how to get after it, Joe. I mean, we'll never forget you just ripping shots with us at the last Badlands meetup.
I gotta watch myself in Nashville when I'm taking shots like that. I'd be careful.
Can't wait. We'll be at Barstool Nashville, people. Details on that about to officially come out. Joe, you're the man. Appreciate you hopping on.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.